Okay, guys, so here's the deal. We're going live, and you know how this works, okay? But first, remember, don't be stingy with your likes. I know you guys, you'll be sitting there, you'll be fondling the like button, and then you're like, no, I don't think he's earned it tonight. And I understand why. It's because some nights I'm not on. But this night is a like button night. Let's get right to it. You know not to use your real name when you call in. You also know to ask questions about Social Security disability benefits. Remember, when you ask your question, ask the legal question right up front. Don't go into story mode. You get about 5 to 7 minutes. We do it every Thursday night. We've got the first caller on the phone. Good, sir. Go ahead and walk me through. What is your legal question?
Yeah, so do you think that the future of the compensation or the industry for Social Security attorneys would be by the hour, like you are doing the $250 an hour? And
Wow.
Can a person be able to do their claim that way as opposed to a percentage of the back pay?
You know, that is such a really good question, and it's such a kick to my butt right to start us off because I don't have a clear and direct answer. So here's the weird thing about it. I started doing that because we didn't have an alternate option to this show. Like literally this show needed something beyond essentially 5 to 7 minutes of consultation. And what happened was people were pissed because they'd call a law firm afterwards and be like, I couldn't get on your show. How could you do this to me? And then I'd be sitting there and be like, yeah, but I'm the only one even doing this. And they're like, it's not enough. So then we made that $250 per hour thing. But I don't think, honestly, you want my honest opinion, and it's not a very nice one. It's not a very relaxed one or pretty one. I will say that. In the future, disability attorneys are either going to need to make more per claim or they're going to get out of this business. So right now they're at $7,200. That's going to have to rise to about 12 to 15 per claim. And they're going to have to not get 25%. They're going to have to get 33% for them to stick around in this industry. And the reason why, unfortunately, like that I see with this situation is that at the end of the day, and this is unfortunate, I foresee many of the disability law firms selling to much larger firms, and there's a consolidation of practices, and then the custom work per claim will drop significantly. And when that happens, you're going to basically see essentially these attorneys taking these claims and specializing in it, but not really doing that much. And there's already a lot of attorneys out there that don't really do that much to begin with. Oh, looks like I lost the caller. Hold on. Let me see what we got going on. Let me see. Let me see if this is the same person. Okay, here we go. Hi, are you the same person we were just on the phone with?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so in quick answer, no, I don't think attorneys will do the $250 per hour. I mean, maybe if it increases to $1,000 per hour, they do it. But otherwise, I'm the only insane idiot that's doing it for that low amount.
Do you think they might go up? Do you think they might do it for $350 or $400 an hour, or whatever the going rate for the other legal industries are?
I think honestly, if you did 500 per hour, they might be interested. Now, here's the deal. I don't know if you guys know how this works, but there's a lot of these like companies out there that are non-legal representatives. And what they do is they go ahead and get all of the claimants that come from the almost all of the claimants that come from the LTD insurance-based groups. So the insurance companies refer all these claimants to the non-attorneys, which is, never, is what it is. And then what happens is if they get denied twice, then what will happen is that that non-legal, group, that non-lawyer group will then hire a lawyer for $500 to go to the hearing for the claimant. Now, you got to wonder, how hard is that attorney going to work for that, hour in the hearing if they're only getting $500? They're not going to do much. They're not going to do very much at all. So what's happening is you're getting a lot of people who are basically frustrated with their attorneys representing them, where their attorneys don't seem like they're that interested. And the reality is that across the entire field, attorneys are less and less interested in representing disabled people because the money isn't there. It's very, very low money. Now,
if you paid the attorney $500 though for all the hours they spent on a claim instead of the percentage of back pay, do you think attorneys would be interested?
No, absolutely not.
Set up like that?
No, of course not. No, if you paid them $500 for a single hour, they might think about just a single hour without representation. But if you pay them $500 for all of the time to represent somebody, you have to understand.
$500 per hour.
Oh, $500 per hour?
For the time they spent on it.
I mean, the way you would do it is you would by statute it. You would have it by statute be, $12,000 total that they can get at 33%. And that might equate to like $500 per hour or whatever. But then you would have people interested in this industry. You'd have people finding new ways to fight for the rights of these beneficiaries. But right now, what you have are people leaving the industry. They're leaving it for all kinds of things. They're leaving it for whatchamacallit, for VA benefits, for LTD benefits, for personal injury. They're leaving it for, insurance-based work. They're leaving it for real estate. What people don't realize is that attorneys have student loans that are out of control. Okay. And when you have to pay, so much money per month at the end of the day, and you're sitting there and you don't have money for like nice restaurants or even the time to go and find somebody, like I will guarantee you, marriage and kids among attorneys has to be going down. We're making less than our parents did that were attorneys as well. We're not having good night lives, right? Where you spend time with your significant other. And so as a result of that, you're basically creating a culture of attorneys that are starved. And starved attorneys are not good. That's not good because then, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Is there an alternative way for attorneys to get paid other than the percentage of back pay to make it lucrative enough or profitable enough for attorneys to represent those who have some savings that would like to be able to get Social Security, disability, and or help with their claim without having to limit the attorney to back pay?
Yeah. They would have to create, real quick, a super thank you to Tiffany Alvarez for the $10 donation. Super duper appreciate it. That's awesome. So here's basically the thing. You could have an EJA fee, equal access to justice fee, like a trust fund fee set up for attorneys to represent claimants that's added on top of what comes from their back pay. But Congress would have to find the money to pull it together to pay these attorneys to represent disabled people on top of what they were supposed to receive from that. Now, there's another problem too, and this is important. You got to understand it. I'm about to tomorrow audit what the SSA currently owes the firm. Okay. Because the firm goes up and down with the amount of money it has, right? When it gets low, we audit them. Every time I audit the SSA, I usually end up with at least $100,000 that are owed to the firm for claims that they've never paid us for over a 2-year period. That's what usually pops up. And so the problem is people don't realize that when somebody wins, we usually get paid around 2 to 3 months to 3 to 6 months after the claimant gets paid. And then with all the screw ups that happen where they'll pay the claimant and then not pay us, or they'll forget to pay us, it takes time to fix those. And then sometimes there's 2 attorneys on a claim. There are certain big box firms that made a heck of a lot of money off of me in the very beginning when I started my law firm, because I got the claimants who were angry at the big box firms and then came over to me. I won the claim. And then at that point, those big box firms sent in their fee petition and sucked a bunch of money out of that 25%. So I was in starving on fumes mode for the first 5 or 6 years of the firm. And I got to tell you this, the big problem I foresee is that you cannot convince a law student to go into disability law going forward. You couldn't even a couple of years ago. So I'm probably at my age, with the white hair that I have growing out of the side of my head, the youngest disability attorney that you're going to find. I'm the last probably of the Mohegans in this sense to go ahead and push forward and actually be a part of this field. And I'll tell you why. That's because I was trained by what was, up until a couple of years ago, the oldest practicing disability attorney in America, who literally practiced longer than anybody else in this field. And I was his first intern because his daughter wanted me to learn how to make money to afford her dressage habit, which, God bless her soul, I think she finally made like the ultra blue bonnet, whatever club, yada, yada, escapade, blah, blah. I don't know what the titles are anymore, but it was like the highest level of whatever, to go to the Olympics, yada, yada. So the point is this, this field is in trouble when it comes to fresh faces for disability benefits. And the future. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So how can we, as the claimants, compensate the attorneys for helping us? Because we know that through the SSA, we can't give you enough because through the normal Social Security system. So aside from hiring you based on the hour, how else can we, as claimants, give you money to make it worth you representing us?
So the first thing is this. Okay, so you know how with disability benefits, if we don't win, we don't get paid. So every time,
but what if you got money? If we paid you and you got money, whether you won or not,
right? And that's what I'm getting at is the risk there is what's ruining the industry when it comes to representing people. The firm, all these firms pretty much won't represent SSI people anymore. It's just too low an amount, too many months. Most law firms, nearly all of them, won't represent anybody under 50 for SSDI benefits because they don't have the grid out rule as the option. So what's happening is younger people, and when I say younger, I mean 0 years old to basically 49 and a day before 50. They can't find attorneys to represent them anymore for the most part because they're too big of a risk. We don't want to spend a couple grand on them and then not win. And that's the problem. If we spend a couple grand and not win, then that's a huge hit. Because if you add up, let's say 5 of those per month, 15 of those per month, 30 of those per month, depending on what size you are, then you're taking on a massive loss because you're taking on younger people that can't potentially grid out. So the problem is it's this whole system of we represent, but then they could not be found disabled and we lose it all. The only way we're going to get attorneys to represent younger people again is that they get paid something to represent them, whether they win or not. Because at the current,
that's what I'm saying. We give you so much per hour, whether we win our claim or we lose our claim.
Right. And so the kicker is this: the SSA is only getting more tighter and tighter on the rules that allow people to be found disabled. They're just squeezing and squeezing. And so the problem is this: they're not going to get easier to be found disabled. And if, how many times did you hear back in the day, 10 years ago, oh, my buddy plays basketballs and he got disability benefits for a back problem. Oh, my buddy went into the behavioral center 3 times and boom, got disability benefits for the mental. Get the crazy check. It's not like that anymore. There's no wiggle room on a couple moderates equating to a severe limitation where you can't do a vocational path in the general work environment. There's none of that. The competitive work environment is a much scarier place now at the SSA that basically will accept many people that I think it would have rejected before. And so I guess what my point is here is, look, and this is the sad thing. And here's the sad thing about my industry. There's a lot of attorneys who never call people back. Okay. There's a lot of attorneys who don't run questions with their claimants. There's a lot of attorneys who basically will not go ahead and attempt to really shape the future of that claimant's claim. Now, understand it's way too much work for way too little pay. So what I did was I automated the whole thing with this 10-level system, right? But then every once in a while, I'll get a claimant who will literally just not want to fill out forms. And those claimants are great for big box firms because big box firms don't send out a lot of forms, not a lot of custom work. They don't want to know, they're not trying to do a lot of custom work. Whereas I'm over here trying to pull out as much information from them as possible, trying to teach them as much as possible about the trick questions that are going to come up. And here's why. If I don't win, I don't get paid. And if I lose enough of these, I literally go bankrupt. So that's what people just have to keep in mind, is that each one of these claimants is potentially a poison pill that could kill the firm. You get enough of them. And I mean, I had one today and I had one yesterday. One today where the person literally knew about their hearing, knew the date, knew the time. This is the second hearing that they had missed. And then once again missed this one. You know why? It's because he was an SSI guy who kept going from facility to facility, never had a phone of his own. The facilities, which were drug rehab facilities, wouldn't allow him to have one. And so bottom line is he kept going from facility to facility, calling me from the reception group. I'd tell him when the date was. He'd lose it, forget, whatever. And then boom, he just blew through his second hearing. And then I had another claimant who I talked with the caseworker. I talked with the claimant 2 days before the hearing. Everything was cool. Everything was rolling. I hadn't spoken with her for 2 months before that because she just couldn't get a hold of her. Kept reaching out. Nothing would get forwarded to her. And then boom, morning of the hearing, she knows exactly when. She knows exactly where. She doesn't pick up the phone for the telephonic hearing. And then I lose. I think on that claim, we calculated at $2,700, which would have been a $7,200 win. And so you have to understand, 2 of those losses in 1 week is very bad for the firm. And, that's not good because, over a month's period, you get enough of those and you're way into the red.
Right.
So,
I get it.
yeah, so that's the problem. Yeah.
I wanted, by the way, I wanted to, when my annual review comes up in a few years, I do want to hire you for whatever your going rate is to help me with the activities of daily living form and exactly all, what type of evidence I need to make sure that I understand the process. I went at first on my own the first time, won my initial and a continuing review, but I want to know a little more about exactly what I got to do, what I got to prove so that I can work with my doctors to prove it.
I hear you. Yeah, a lot of people hire me for that $250 per hour thing to basically tell them what the rule requirements are. And the funny thing is this: if you don't know how you were found disabled and what you were found disabled for, like, is it a grid out? Is it a listing? Is it a vocational outs?
I think it was a list. More likely than not, it was the autism listing.
Okay, so bottom line is, specifically for that, you've got to know what type of language they're looking for and what type of auxiliary evidence they like to see, which are like the things that prove that you have it in a severe way that didn't just come from the doctor. So point is, yeah, we'll go through it. I've got to get to the next call though, because we've been on for
Feel free. By the way, your channel has been very helpful.
Thank you, good sir. I really appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You as well. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye. So guys, real quick, I'm going to grab the next phone call. That was a really, really good question. I mean, that hit me hard because I wasn't exactly sure how to approach it, but you can now understand where this whole thing is going when it comes to disability benefits. Here we go. Here's the next call. Let's get this thing on speakerphone. There we go. Very good. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like to ask me a specific question, or would you like to would you like to go over potential upcoming hearing questions? Go ahead.
Yes, I filed for disability on April 11th last year, and I just got a notice this week about going to see one of their doctors. I have MS, and it's all up through my spinal cord and into my brain. And I'm just curious, like, what should I expect from their disability meeting that I have to go see their doctor?
Oh, okay. So you're going to go to what's called a CEME, which is a consultative examination medical expert appointment. And MC has already reviewed your record and said, look, we don't have enough evidence of this particular impairment. So send them off to an ME, a medical expert. The medical expert is the one you see. The MC is the one you don't see. They just review the record. You'll go to this medical expert. Now, what they will be looking for are symptoms and signs of that particular impairment. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I'm going to grill you a little bit. You're going to feel like a hot dog that's squealing around inside a bun. Okay.
Fine.
Perfect. Good. Now, what symptoms, what you feel, what signs, physical manifestations on your body does this impairment cause for you?
I have to walk with a leg brace and a cane. I have like balance issues. I fall constantly. I've got bruises and scrapes on my arms where I constantly fall. The pain, some days there's so much pain in my legs that I can't even get out of my house slippers, and basically can get from my bed to my kitchen to my sofa. I've been in construction since '85. I was a pipe fitter my whole life, so obviously I can't climb ladders or anything anymore. And like I said, there's a lot of pain, constant pain. I'm on all kinds of pain medication. I've been to NIH in Bethesda, Maryland. I live in South Carolina. I've been to NIH. I'm enrolled in one of their programs. I saw doctors from Charleston, South Carolina, all the way to the North Carolina line before they figured out, after I did a spinal tap, that I had MS.
Okay.
And so I've been seeing neurologists for the past year and a half. I have bowel issues, bladder issues, where basically I'm 57, where basically I'll probably be sharing my father, who's 81, diapers sooner than I have ever expected in my life. I can't write. My hands are numb, constantly numb. My feet are numb and tingly. Like I said, I have to walk with a leg brace because apparently I have they said it's like drop foot or drop leg. My left leg drags, and then the cane, of course. And then in the mornings when I get up out of bed, I have to use my walker until my medication picks up inside of my body, where I can actually just use my cane and my leg brace.
Okay. Good. About 40% of that was not a symptom, was not a sign. Let's do it again. It's just the symptoms and signs. If you want to start with symptoms, fine. If you want to start with signs, fine. If you want to mix them together, that's fine. But how does your MS cause you symptoms or signs that limits your at work and at home functions? Go ahead.
Okay. My bowel and bladder. I have bowel and bladder issues. I'm in severe pain in different parts of my body. I have to use a cane and the leg brace just to get up and move, and a walker in the mornings. I'm on pain medication. And there's numbness, constant numbness in my hands and my feet. So I can't even write. I write very bad now. I used to have great handwriting. I just, that was part of my job, being able to write and fill out files.
Oh, we can't hear you. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. Yep.
Better?
Yep. Better.
Okay. Writing was part of my job. I was a pipe fitter my whole life since '85. I can't climb a ladder. What else? My wife has to basically dress me. I wear stretch pants and stretch shorts because I can't do buttons anymore. I have a hard time lacing up boots or shoes, so I have slip-ons. That's about it that I can think of. I haven't practiced anything, like I said.
Okay. All right. What have you installed in your house to help you get around?
I have, you're on my TV. I have a ramp to get up and down out of the house because of the stair situation. I have a handrail on my bathtub, a footstool for my toilet, and handrails attached to my bathroom wall. And I'm looking into getting a walk-in shower installed because I have to have assistance getting in and out of the bathtub to take a shower. Oh, and a seat for the shower because I can't stand in the shower.
How do you drive with these impairments, if you do drive?
Most of the time, my wife does all the driving. Fortunately, my father was a paraplegic, and we have a conversion van that has hand controls, and I have to use the hand controls because I can't feel with my feet due to the numbness and tingling.
So help me understand this real quick. You said that you were prescribed certain ambulatory devices. What are those devices? And I didn't hear a wheelchair. So can you explain to me why you don't need a wheelchair?
I don't need a wheelchair yet because I can still pretty much walk, but I have a walker. Actually, it's my second walker and a cane that I use. I primarily use the walker in the morning when I get up, or if I've been up a long time during the day, just to get back and forth to my bedroom. But I have a cane and I have to wear a leg brace.
Okay. So let me understand this real quick. Does your wife currently work?
No, sir. She takes care of me and my paraplegic bedridden father.
Okay.
We've had to move back into my father's house.
How many floors do you have?
Just one floor.
Understood. How many steps into the house and the back area?
There's 3 on the front and 3 on the side.
Okay. Where do you normally store your walker with a seat?
My walker does not have a seat. Just my shower has a seat in it. My walker is a stand-up walking walker, and it's beside my bed, or right now it's beside me out in the living room on our sofa, right beside me, as a matter of fact.
So you don't keep one in the car, correct?
No, I have a wheelchair in my van, in my dad's van.
And you use the wheelchair?
Well, like when I fly back and forth to NIH, I have to use a wheelchair to get through the airports and get to the van. And then once the van drops me off, I mean, that's the only traveling I do. I pretty much don't leave the house because of my balance issues.
But what about when you're getting groceries? You don't have a walker for that?
My wife gets them. They go. She calls it in, and the grocery store packs it up, and she just goes on Thursdays and picks it up and brings it home.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we usually get maybe 4 bags a week, and she tends to that.
Mm-hmm. So help me understand this. When you go to the doctor, whether in the state or outside of the state, you're not using a walker when you arrive, correct?
No, sir. I'm on my cane.
So why don't you have to use the walker when you go see your doctors after traveling and you'd be tired, as opposed to just having it at home?
Because I can't transport it on the plane. They told me I couldn't bring my walker on the plane the last time I flew to NIH.
Well, I mean, first of all, you can get devices that can, assist. Okay, that unfold and do all that jazz. Second of all, get that upgraded to a walker with a seat, because with MS, you're going to have the leg issues where you need to obviously sit down, numbness, all that jazz. So make sure you get it. Yeah. Now, do me a favor, keep a walker in the car. Keep a walker in the car, because the argument of when you get to the doctor's office and have to get into the building, wait there, do all that jazz, it's better if you can say that you have a walker with a seat. That way you've always got a ready-made chair in case there's a problem with your body,
I got you. Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I'm pretty much homebound.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon and as our best friend, and our mailman hates us.
Sure.
I had to move. I lived on a sailboat. My wife and I lived on a sailboat.
Oh, wow.
That life is gone. Like I said, I had to move back home with my father, and we made the house handicap accessible. Like I said, put the ramp on and everything instead of using his ramp that he had just to get in and out of the house. He had a little metal ramp, which I can't hardly lift at all. And, I am able to mow the grass, but I have to, on a riding mower, but I have to stop and get off. And, it should be like an hour and a half job on a riding mower. Sometimes it takes me 2 days to do the front yard and the backyard. It's only a little half-acre plot.
When you go see the doctor, do me a favor, either be in a wheelchair or a walker with a seat. And the reason why is the problem with MS claimants and a lot of these DDS, CEME doctors is that when you get there, the doctors will often rush ahead and they'll start to quickly assess your body by moving your arm, moving your this, moving your that. And you've got to be able to slow down that appointment as much as you can, because they want you in and out within a 15 to 20 minute window for the next one to pop in. So my point with this is, you need to make sure that when they check, rotation capacity, when they check, basically your ability to go ahead and have touch sensitivity, when they check your ability to stand, straight leg test, all that jazz, you have to show them and not let them automatically, say that you could do this, 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 and this, because those DDS, CEME doctors are famous for saying they did a test when they never did a test. So the bottom line is, make sure you know what tests were performed and which ones weren't, and also make sure that you slow it down and that they can see all the limitations, because a lot of people walk in there and the doctor will grab their arm, do this, do that, push here, push there, lift here, lift there. Cool. Okay. Lean against here, lift your leg there. Okay. Lay down, lift your leg. They'll do all these things so quickly, and then they'll just write it down as fine, 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 fine. That's the thing, and now remember, you gotta, make sure you get an RFC statement. Get an RFC from a specialist, because they're going to be sending you to a specialist as well.
Okay, because I've also developed tremors over the past 6 months,
mm-hmm.
where I don't know why I've developed them, but NIH, I have to keep in contact with them. I've donated my brain and spine to them for the study they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they had scheduled me to fly up there in November. The first week of November, they scheduled me to come up there for another MRI, because apparently they have the biggest MRI machine around. And the last time I was there, December, was I sat in the MRI machine for almost 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, when my wife notified the nurse up there that I was having these tremors, they were freaking out. So they scheduled me to come up there ASAP.
Gotcha.
So they could do another MRI on me.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
slow it down. A walker with the seat. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty much homebound, sir. I mean, I don't go anywhere. My wife pretty much does all the running around, and I feel bad for her because, like I said, she takes care of me and my father, who's bedridden, and thank goodness she's a stout German woman.
Sure. Yeah, they're tough. They are.
She had helped me get dressed. Yes, her and her parents helped us out with me and my dad.
Good.
You know, but like I said, my wife has to, you know, dress me. I've changed because I used to wear overalls day and night. I mean, that's what I wore, and I have a hard time just doing my straps on my overalls and zippers to go pee, and sometimes I pee in my pants, and I've also had number 2 to my pants because I can't feel it coming. And then I always feel like I have a full bladder and I have to brace myself or sit down to even urinate.
Yeah.
And I know this is on air and I'm really embarrassed, but
oh, it's part of it though. That's the impairment. That's how it works, you know, and it gets worse and worse as time goes on. That's the tricky thing is that I don't know people with MS that don't have depression after so many years because the slope downwards is a very tough pill to swallow, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I know my wife's a trooper to go through what she's going through with my father, you know, bathing him, taking care of him, and then me, you know, on top of it. So, and like I said, you know, I spent a year and a half just figuring out what was wrong with me. South Carolina is not the best for neurological deals. I mean, I had to go to. I've been to MUSC, and like I said, from there all the way to the North Carolina state line, the neurologist. And actually, it was the doctor at Urgent Care, one of the 24-hour places, who said, "Hey, I've got MS, but I've had it for 15 years." And he's like, "You got MS?" And he's like, "I want you to go get these tests done." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You got all the symptoms of MS." And I'm like, I never even thought of it. I just thought it was old pains from being a pipe fitter my whole life, you know?
Right.
And I've had to have a spinal operation and a total hip replacement. And like I said, I'm only 57, but that's part of my job. That's part of our body that wears out.
Yeah.
But the MS was a complete surprise. And, you know, once they did the spinal tap, I guess there's something they can figure out. I promised my wife I wouldn't Google or WebMD anything. I tell her what hurts, and she tells me it's part of the MS. You know, just like the tremors. She's like, "You're shaking constantly. Even when you're in bed or asleep, you're shaking."
Yeah.
And there's something going on. And I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it. I knew I was shaking, but, you know, like the other day, I told her something about my feet were hurting. And she came back and she says, we were sitting outside, and she says, "The reason your feet are hurting is it's part of the MS." And I'm like, okay. So, like I said, you know, I've known for a fact for 2 years now that I've had MS. Definitely for a little over a year now, but my long-term insurance denied me by 1 day.
Yeah.
They gave me my short-term disability, but my long-term, they denied me by 1 day. They said it was a pre-existing condition, and I missed the date by 1 day on that. So kudos to Prudential. They did a good job. They wouldn't even refund me my money that I put into them for all these years.
Oh, wow.
Well, I appreciate your help big time. And like, I just stumbled across your channel on YouTube.
Hey,
I just stumbled across it. And I was like, let me give them a call and see what's happening. And, you know, like I said, I donated everything to NIH. So hopefully they can get something out of my noggin when I'm dead and figure out how to help somebody down the road, you know?
Hey, you know, but good sir, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for delivering this information because somebody else out there is in the same position. I will catch you down the line. Please have a wonderful, wonderful night. You know, yeah.
Yes, sir. You do the same, and I appreciate your help, sir. Thank you very much, and I'll call you back and let you know what they said after November 25th.
Perfect, good sir. That sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You have a blessed evening, sir.
You too. Bye-bye, good sir. Bye-bye. Okay, we've got the let's get this on the speakerphone real quick. There we go. Hold on.
Hi, Walter.
Howdy, good sir. Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run some hearing questions with you?
I've got a specific question. I talked to you a week or two ago, and you said it was very, very important to get a disability determination explanation from Social Security there. And I went to the office, and they were able to print it out. Well, what's the important part of that document? Is it the adult medical disposition?
Okay, so wait. Which form do you have? Do you have the DDE or do you have an ROI in front of you? Which one?
It was awarded Social Security disability a couple months ago, and my attorney didn't know why. She's just happy you got it, yay!
Oh, so you pulled a
Don't know
DDE.
why.
Yeah, it's a display determination explanation. Okay, cool. All right. So bottom line, when you look through it, the first thing you're going to look for is the listing criteria, and they have a thing that says like doesn't meet, doesn't, or meets, and then they have little variations in between. Not all parts of it meet the listing. Blah blah blah. Go to the listing level where it talks about listings. What does it say about each listing?
The medical evaluation subject medically equals 11.02A. Then it says adult medically determinable impairments, MDI, neurological disorders, 3460.
No, it's farther down than that. The MDI just gives you the
listing considered 11.02, 11.18. And then it says the adult medical disposition medically equals listing 11.02.
There you go. Boom.
That's it.
Oh, well, read it to me again, because I'm having a hard time hearing a little bit. But one more time, that part right there.
Adult medical disposition medically equals listing 11.02A for epilepsy. It talks about, after that, it goes into assessment of policy issues of, it looks like stuff from the Blue Book.
Yeah.
Understanding memory related, sustained concentration, other symptoms, migraines, TBI, can one or more of the individual's medically determinable impairments reasonably be expected to produce these symptoms? Yes. Are the individual statements about the intensity, persistence, functioning substantiated by other medical evidence alone? Yes. There's no indication that a medical opinion from any other source. It says no RFCs are associated with this claim. No MRFCs are associated. And then it says the determinations based on these documented findings are disabled. Is there medical evidence of a DAA? They said no.
That's drug alcohol.
The dates of, when that all happened, the accident. It says, is this a closed period? It says no. And then it says diary type and reason code is medical improvement not expected, and it says 7. And it says diary date 6/1/2030.
Okay, cool.
And then it says, pardon, sir?
Do you want me to walk you through what that is before you keep? Do you want me to just kind of tell you what that's about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Listing level approval. They're not going to review you with the CDR for about 7 years, but it'll probably turn out to be about 6.5 years because they have a ramp up period, which means that you have to read and understand what the things were that they were looking for, because for the future adjudications, you'll be ruled and adjudicated on those same legal standards. So go through that and pull each little thing that they said help prove that you were listing level criteria, because you're going to want to make sure that stays consistent over the next 7, years going forward. So yeah, you're a listing level criteria, which means you're a blue booker, which means you're more severe than most who are found disabled. The least severe ones are the vocational allowances, followed by basically the grid outs, followed by the listing level, followed by the compassion allowance listing people. So you are truly severely impaired. And yeah, so you're good there. You've got a really good finding.
Okay. It says, such the individual's capability, it says, does not need to be addressed.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Okay, so oh man, I don't know if I'll have enough time for me to explain that. No, we can do it. Let's do it. There's 5 elements. Element 3 is what you were found disabled at. Magic little door opened, you walk through it. It's called the listing magical door. I made that up, but let's just go with it. Magical listing door goes to like Harry Potter Narniaville, and you're found disabled while you're there, so it's good. However, element 4 and element 5 are not needed. So what happens if you aren't really going to be found disabled at a listing level? Element 3 has like a part 2. Part 2 is they do a residual functional capacity assessment, the INGs. How well can he walk, stand, walking, standing, pushing, pulling, crouching, kneeling, stooping, lifting, blah, 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 remembering, focusing, concentrating, blah, 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 all that jazz, completing of simple instructions, completing of detailed instructions. So the point is, they don't need that because you already medically met the severity requirements of that impairment. So they don't need to see what you can or cannot do physically and mentally, because they don't need to compare you against your old jobs and other jobs in the national economy to see if you can do them. They don't care if you can go back to work because you met the severity of that impairment at the listing statute level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it matter that in 7 years I'll be 63? Does that affect anything?
You probably
CDR?
You probably get a quick short form. You fill it out, you send it in. You'll never hear back. You're going to sit on this until you're 67, and then basically you'll ride retirement for the rest of the time.
Okay. Well. Oh. Okay. Shit. Yeah, because it was all reviewed by the doctor and crap and signed off. So okay, so I am the screwed up. Okay, good. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say you're screwed up, but yes, good sir, you are screwed up. Yes. Indeed. Oh my goodness. Indeed.
Okay. Well, thanks for telling me to go to the office to get a printout a week or two ago, and I got to tell you, it was like 25 minutes, and the lady was not nice as pie. She nice as you, and she was very helpful.
That's excellent. I'm so glad to hear that you got the DDE. And just for everybody out there who doesn't know, a DDE is a disability determined explanation. It's like a cute little summary as to all the workup that they did at the DDS level to see if you are disabled. It's their reasoning where they do a listing level criteria analysis, a vocational analysis, and potential grid out. And at the end of the day, in this instance, it was a listing level element 3 magic door approval, which takes him to Narnia, where he gets a check and health insurance until he reaches retirement, in which case he'll switch over at that point with not being penalized for taking early, which is a golden ticket. Good sir, I'm going to switch to the next caller. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Hey, thanks a lot. You gave some hope for the past months where there wasn't a whole lot. You do good, okay?
Thank you, good sir. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. You have a wonderful night.
Peace. Night.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Guys, we're going to take one more call real quick. Super thank you to Purple Mafia. Really cool little image there. That's like a cool anime image. Let's take this last call for the night. Real quick, we're going to take this last call for the night. Let me go ahead and click the thingy right here. Put it on speaker. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Would you like me to use a fake? Or no, go ahead and use a fake name throughout this process. And remember, would you like me to answer specific legal questions, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I guess legal questions.
Sure, you got it. Go ahead.
I had turned in my CDR form in January at the local field office. Mm-hmm. They kept the records that I turned in pretty much at the local field office, and they didn't upload them into the main database. Okay. So when I went online to check with the SSA.gov to see the process or where it was, they never really updated it. And then I sent some more records in to help my case. I had to fax them over to a fax number listed that they gave me, but it's now sent to DDS for review. And my rep called me last week, and she asked me a question that really didn't pertain to, I don't really think it pertained to the CDR form.
What was the question?
She asked me, yes, sir. She asked me about my cognitive, and I told her about the surgeries that I had, that you lose function of the balance canal, and then on my right side, the canal collapsed, and it got to the canals when it collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had 2 lateral strokes. I have cognitive issues every day, balance problems, which can get worse at times. But she asked me my mental. She said, you have cognitive, because she said, so you have cognitive and you also have mental, or cognitive mental. And I said, well, I'll address the cognitive. And I tried to address that. And then she asked me, I said, about the mental side of it, it is depressing.
Oh, what just happened? I just lost him. Oh no. Wait, I lost him. I think I clicked the wrong button. I clicked multiple buttons. It didn't work out. Hold on. Oh no, I lost him. Hold on. I lost you. I was clicking the other caller off, and then I lost you. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, Walter. So I addressed the cognitive part, and I didn't really get to go into too much detail about the cognitive because she switched over to mental, and then I said, well, I mean, you get depressed at times, but I rely on my faith, and that helps me. And I watch Christian preachers and online and stuff. Apostles.org, one of my favorites. But I asked her, what did she mean by mental? And then she said, what was your highest level of education? And she said, I just was about to answer that question. And she goes, then I stopped for a second, and she said, did you complete high school? I said, yes. And then she goes, well, how much college did you have? And I started to tell her, but I thought to myself, why does she want to know my level of education?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of the adjudication. They want to know basically your education because they're doing So they changed the rules a couple of years ago as to how they assess education. And the deal is, it used to be like really, really, really simple. It was just basically, less than high school, or more than high school, how many years of college. Now they have it where they can do an assessment of like a couple of grades, couple more grades up, etc. They have it much more broken down. The reason they're doing that is that when they do a vocational allowance for basically element 4 and element 5, the vocational elements, the work elements, those things have like certain reasoning things that are part of them, certain math skills that are part of them. If the claimant doesn't have, higher level math skills, then they obviously can't do higher level management positions. So the less of the education you have, the more likely you're not going to be in a management or executive position. So the reason they're asking about education is to see, where you fit into an element 4, element 5 claim, because they're thinking that this is not a listing level criteria claim where you're severe for one particular impairment. So they're looking at, do all of his impairments keep him from working? And then basically from there, the other options. No, wait, how old are you again?
I'm 46.
Yeah, so they're not looking at grid outs. They're looking at vocational allowance. They're looking at an element 5, other types of jobs that you could potentially do, transferable work, and the past jobs you've had with the education you had, for all the reasoning, math, etc. So bottom line is, education is important for the level of SVPs that they're going to shoot your way. SVPs are specific vocational preparations, which tell us how much time it takes to learn how to do that job. The higher the SVP, usually the higher the requirements to be able to do those jobs, like reasoning, like math. So that's kind of the bottom line there, is that they're looking to see if there's potential transferable skills, and if your education matches up with your vocational past, and if there's other types of jobs that they could say that you could do that require, you know, a little bit more education, or if you're restricted because you have less education.
Okay, okay, so I can call her back and tell her my education, and it wouldn't put me at any, like, I was wondering why she was going the mental path. I wasn't sure about that. And the other thing, I requested a copy of the DDE from the local field office after watching one of your videos.
Sure.
To get more of an idea of the grounds for my level, like the disability that I have, and they put me on hold for 20 minutes, came back and said that we can't give that to you, and you would have to have your attorney call to get it.
I don't know why they keep doing that. They're just wasting everybody's time. You can submit a form to get it, or you can go to the local field office and get it. But the bottom line, now look, here's the thing. Are you at reconsideration, or are you at the initial filing level?
This is the first CDR review.
Oh, so it's a first. So you're how long? How many years since you were found disabled?
2016 January.
All right, so that's too old. The old CDRs from 2015, 2016, while you're being adjudicated, they're too old. So you're going to have to get through your first level of CDR. You're going to have to get like a denial before they even have a DDE prepped. Because remember, they haven't finished their summary document. They haven't finished that DDE document on the 8-step sequential process, which, you know, to be fair, you know, they need to be there. They need to deny you that way or approve you either way. That way we know they've completed the DDE. They haven't finished your DDE because you've only, you know, you're about to go to the doctor and his report is part of that DDE.
Okay. They haven't referred me yet to go to any of their doctors just yet, but
okay.
I did give them like 12 doctors that I've seen, because my surgery, there was complications, and the doctor that had done my surgery did not tell me that the complications on the right side surgery, he didn't tell me, and I ended up having to go somewhere else to two other doctors before I found out what happened. And he got my facial nerve, and he messed with my hearing, and also damaged my middle ear as well. But yeah, it's tough. A lot of cognitive from it, a lot of headaches, migraines every day. And I had 2 small strokes in January, and lateral strokes. I don't think they were not inchismic, you know, where you lose function, but associated with migraines. Other than that, I turned in a lot of records, and I can't find out if they are going to if they're going to factor all the records I've turned in for this review, or if they're going to handpick the ones that they want to use. Is there a way I can get them to print me off some kind of list to see if all the doctors I have submitted, they're going to review?
Wait, rephrase that. Because I was typing a little bit there. Rephrase that question for me. Go ahead.
I turned in originally like 6 doctors at the field office, and then as I got other records that I found, and some I had to send off for, I faxed over some more doctors to support the complications I had in surgery. And I tried to ask them at the field office the names of all the doctors, but they only gave me the 6 doctors I had turned in person at the field office, but they wouldn't give me the remaining. Like, I was wanting to make sure that the other doctors I had faxed over their records and put their name and put my social on the form, and I'm on the review, CDR review. I was trying to make sure that they were going to review all the doctors I had turned in
Well, just call the
And,
DDS rep and ask them for, who they currently have on file, the in date and the out date. They have that. Once remember, they're not going to have that until like you go see their doctor and their doctor writes the report, because that's when they go ahead and organize the in and out dates on everything and finalize it and make sure it's good. But call them and say, hey, look, I want to make sure you have it all. What's each facility that you have in the F folder, and what are the in and out dates?
In and out dates. I'll write that down. Okay. In and out dates. So it's like 12 doctors, and some of them go back like 4 or 5 years, but the ones I turned in at the field office were the ones from the last 3 years, and because that's what they sort of asked for in the form is the most current. But I thought these other doctors backed my case, and they're really good. I mean, really good hospitals, major hospitals, and I wanted to be sure I got credit for their documentation, which proves my ongoing problem. So I was trying to get a list from them, and then they said, we can't send you a letter to tell you what doctors we're reviewing. And then they said, we asked, well, what if I mail a jump drive to you? Can you put it on there? And they said, no. And then I said, what about a disc?
No.
They said,
hey, real quick, good sir. We've kind of reached that spot. There's one person who called in early, and we didn't get a chance to get to him. I really want to do his call real quick. Just catch up with me next week, okay?
absolutely. Thank you, Walter.
Perfect, good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, we got to go find the person who was calling in much earlier, because there was somebody who called in, didn't really know how this whole thing worked. And I don't want him to be left out in the cold on this thing, because he was calling in. Oh, goodness gracious. There's a zillion people who called in. I think I answered the phone somewhere around. You know what, guys? I have no friggin' clue which person it was. Let's see. It would have to be around this time right here. Hold on. Let me. I might be able to see how much time I spent on the phone with them. I can. This was a one. All right. This one. I think this one's it. We're going to try this one. This person called in, couldn't figure out how YouTube was working. Let's see if we can get this person on the phone. Let's see if we can get him on the phone. We got some ringing going on.
Hello.
Howdy, good sir. Attorney Walter Hnot. I didn't see your phone call coming in. I'm making a special phone call to you after we did all the other callers, because I know you couldn't kind of figure out the YouTube thing. How can I help you with what question you have? Remember to use a fake name. Go ahead.
Okay, you ready now?
Ready. Go ahead.
Okay, I got my CDR. I spoke with you on August the 24th, about almost 2 months ago. You remember? You probably don't remember. You get so many names.
Yeah, I don't remember, but you hit me with the question. Make it a good one. I want to cry a little.
Okay, I think this is the short form.
Okay.
Okay. I got a doctor's appointment. I'm buying vision in Paris. I know you ain't gonna remember none of that though. What I was saying. I would think I heard something on your thing a while ago that you talked to a guy on there, and I kind of had mine mixed up. So the first round, I went to my first CD I get with a CDR. They sent me to their doctors.
Okay.
Well, when I first got it started, they sent me to their doctors, and then the last time they sent me to their doctors. And that's what I didn't understand why I got one of them forms, a big old form to get, because I thought they were going to send me to one of their doctors again. But I had to go to the doctor my own self this time. So anyway,
okay.
I got a doctor's appointment for tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
And okay, I'm listening to you.
What was the legal question? Because you lost me a little bit. What's the legal question?
Okay, this is what I'm saying right here. I hadn't been to the doctor.
Okay.
But anyway, that's going to be fine because I took all my Social Security field office. One's been working with me for years. So they said, yeah, that's fine. I said, they gave you about 30 days. I said, I didn't get it till October the 6th. So, I mean, they dated to October the 6th. So really, my impairment is blind vision impairment. I don't have no other impairments. So I ain't nothing else I can give them but that. Or, you know, I'm the same blindness of work. Is that right?
I mean, look, here's the deal. Blind claimants, the rules are very, very specific. And the numbers, you know, they are what they are. So bottom line is the way you should protect yourself against CDRs is go get an eye exam and basically get the numbers that they give you. Now, look, they need one eye that's blind. What are the numbers? Well, so basically, here's what you need to know. Okay, because I'm going to give you the practical application version of it. When you look at the chart, you know, when you're sitting in the chair, you have to.
Like I did, 2 times ago.
Right. You can't see it with one eye. And the other eye can only decipher the big E at the top. Right. So, so what you've got to make sure that your impairments equate to based on the medically disabled individual that you are. Is that your bad eye can't see it. And your good eye can only barely see and decipher the E at the top. Right. And you need that from one of your medical facilities. That way, if they come out with something different, you know, if you're reading letters below the E, that way you've got a facility that backs your particular eyesight limitations.
Okay, what that mean right there?
Okay, they're collecting evidence. Evidence gets weighed. Your doctors go on one side, their doctors go on the other side. Imagine a little teapot. The teapot's going to go left, the teapot's going to go right, but ultimately at the end of the day, you want your evidence to be, you know, in your favor, if you will. So what we're saying is when you go to their eye specialist, they might come out with essentially, you know, information that says you're not as blind as you were back in the day. Okay. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. So you want to go to your specialist and get their report that says you are the same or worse than you were before, so long as your impairments truly are that. As an attorney, I have to say that, you know?
Okay. This is my other question. Now, I've been up at the Easter Seal for like 10 years. When they just wanted to go back to my work history for 21. What kind of work, you know, they're going to have that down anyway because they know where I'm at up at that Easter Seals up there. You know, I'm a cleaner. I clean stuff. That's what I do. Clean toilets and stuff.
So you're doing a side job.
Yeah. With Easter Seals, people with got disability problems. Yeah.
And is it a program set up? Yeah, I mean, is it a program set up where the earnings aren't going to hurt you?
Right. You know, it's got with me being blind, rich, and impaired. The limit is $2,400 a month, and I get about $1,700.
All right, do me a favor, and I can't tell you to go read this because obviously you're blind, but have somebody read to you Disability Listing 2.02.
Wait a minute, what is that? Wait a minute.
Disability Listing 2.02.
Okay. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can write this. Okay, wait a minute.
And if I summarize for you,
0.2.
Yeah, 2.02, loss of central visual acuity.
Wait a minute.
It's here. I'll summarize it. 2.02. How to be blind and keep disability benefits. 20 over 200 or less after best correction. 20 over 200 or less after best correction.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you this then. Okay, this is the last time I went. I got some kind of way I got to pay for it, and it showed me with my 2080.
That's not good.
2080 wasn't in my good eye.
2080.
Well, approved me on it.
2080 isn't good. You gotta all right, your bad eye has to be no bueno across the chart, the Snellen chart. Your good eye has to be 20 over 200 as to the only thing you can see. All right, let me give you a quick walkthrough how this works. You know how there's a red line at the bottom of it? That's 2020. And then there's a green line a little bit higher up. That's 2030. So remember, I could not see 2020 without my glasses because I read briefs all the time, and this industry has abused my eyes. But the way this works is, most people are 2020, right? And then they go to 2025, then they go to 2030, then they go to 2040. They keep getting worse to 2050. Then you go to 2070, which is like 3 lines down. Okay. Then you go to 2100, which is the second line. And then you go to 2200, 20 over 20/200. And that's the first line. That's the big E.
Right.
You
probably need a seeing eye dog for that, don't you?
Well, no, I mean, get one if you want. They like treats. But the point is, you got to be able to only see with your good eye 20 over 200.
20 over 200, okay. 20 over 200, can you drive?
Well, I mean, you sure as hell shouldn't. Man, 20 over you got one eye that can't see anything and one eye that can barely see the big E. I mean, you can in a field, but you shouldn't be on a road. I mean, like if you grew up on a farm and there's a field that that your family owns, then have fun. It'll be exhilarating. But otherwise, no. I mean, you can't see the stop signs. You can't effectively see the stoplights. You can't effectively see the children running across.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying, but I don't know. They approved me on it the last time I went. The first time and the last time. I didn't. It was blurry to me. Yeah, it was blurry to me. And they had to bring it all the way up to me too for me to see it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But just remember, 20 over 200, first line, big E with the good eye. That's all you really should be able to see. Now, obviously, you have to do what your impairments will allow you to do. As an attorney, I have to say that. But the statute is good eye, 20 over 200, bad eye, you can't see stuff.
All right. I can't see nothing. I don't even have an eye.
Well, I mean, then you're ahead of the game. So I'm not really sure how to. Yeah, you're good.
My right eye done been removed. I just got a contactor in, and I'm looking like I got an eye. I don't even have an eye.
Oh man, then so here's the thing. Then your argument isn't just basically the singular eyesight limitation. If you don't have a second eye, then it comes down to depth perception limitation. It comes down to capacity of your visual acuity. What are you seeing to the left? What are you seeing to the right? What are you seeing up? What are you seeing down? What's your field of vision limited to with your eye? Are there spots where you can see through that are not in the center? Then that's why they gave it to you. Because if you don't have one eye and the other eye is basically 80 over 200,
No, 200. I mean 2080. Yeah.
2080. Yeah. I mean, Yeah. Sorry. 2080. Yeah. Then in that case. Sorry, my brain's starting to melt because we're reaching 11 p.m. and I have a couch that has
back out to me. I sure do. I really need to know. And if I have to hire you, I will.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want you told me about the CDR. I've been hearing you talking to everybody about them CDR, and I wasn't supposed to be really getting mine until 23. 12/23, and that's in December. They gave it to me in October.
Yeah.
They sent it to me. So I don't know what that was about right there.
Yeah. But anyway, good sir, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take a mini nap. I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. Okay.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Oh, okay, so with my right eye being gone for at least the purely removed and everything, and I should be okay with the 2080 or whatever.
Yeah, you'll be fine. When you're missing an eye, like a lot of the things required by the job, the vocational market requires depth perception. They don't want you sticking your hand into the machine too far. You know what I mean?
Right.
And how are you going to get to the job over and over consistently on time? If you have to rely on public transportation all the time, it gets a little rough. And then on top of that, you're a risk. You're a risk. You're a liability. We put you on a floor. You're not going to see somebody walking by with hot soup. You're not going to see somebody walking by with, basically sharp objects. You're a liability.
Right. So that's good then with my eye being removed. That's been removed for years.
Yeah, that's on your medical record. But anyways, good sir, let me hop off here. I'm going to catch you later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Okay, and thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. So with that said, awesome. We have now completed the amazing, October 10th. So 10, 19, 23, awesome video. I don't know, what do we even call this? Free consultation, attorney helps with stuff, amazing disability benefit review, thingamajig. Now, with that said, please remember, do not be frosty. Do not be frosty with your likes. Give the like button a light patting on the back, okay? If you will, a slight stroke over the head. If you will, just a little talk and be like, hey, I want to give you a pillow. I want to give you a pillow that has a like button on it. I really do. Please consider the like. I'm talking about it like it's like a little dog. Like, this is so adorable. Give the like button a snuggle, a hug. There you go. There we go. Now we're getting some likes. Y'all have been stingy on me now. I'm telling you. Yeah, you've just been sitting there holding all your likes like it's the soup that the soup kitchen wasn't going to give you any extra of. I will catch you later, though. Please have a wonderful night. Please remember to like, subscribe, click the all button. If you want to leave a review, Disability Resolution Florida on Google, Disability Resolution Law Firm on Google. If you're looking for a disability attorney, you know who to call. I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful night. Please take care of yourself, and please go watch the new episode of Loki that just came out that I'm about to go watch. I will catch you later, and have fun. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.